morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds worth of sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. 14:20 in the morning for this December 9th, 2022, brought to you today by collectibleexchange.com. Use promo code 1420CX at collectibleexchange.com for all your sports, memorabilia, and collectibles. It's a great website. They got a lot of cool stuff on there, so go to collectibleexchange.com. Promo code 1420CX. Get 10% off at checkout today. Get yourself something this holiday season. Don't just be giving stuff away. Get yourself something for your man cave. Anyways, looking at the NHL scores as of late, and I noticed that the scores are really high. The Sabres put up 9 the other night. The Oilers put up 8. The Canucks seem to be putting up 6 and 7 goals every night. And I took a little bit of a dive yesterday, and I put it on the Twitter machine. If you guys follow us on Twitter at _1420sports, but that there seems to be a lack of goaltending out there. For those of you who know me, I was a fledgling goaltender back in the day. I played a little bit of junior hockey and this and that. I wasn't very good, but I tried. I toiled out there. But anyways, I played a little bit, so I do have a bit of a knowledge as to goaltending. And it seems to me there seems to be a huge lack of quality goaltenders out there. I mean, there's 32 teams. You got to have 2 per team and 64 goalies and the like, right? So it is tough to get that many good guys out there. But the thing about goaltending is they're a lot like NFL quarterbacks. You show me a good goalie and I'll show you a good coach. And it's the same thing with a quarterback. You show me a good quarterback and I'll show you a good NFL coach. And then they kind of go hand in hand with each other. I came up with that myself, actually. That's a Brent original. But to me, the golden era of goaltending in the National Hockey League was in the 90s. Yeah, guys that the likes of Martin Brodeur, Patrick Waugh, Bill Ranford, Grant Fuhr. He a little bit later, but he had some great years with the Sabres at the end of his career. Of course, Eddie Belfour, Felix Potvin. You can throw Mike Vernon into that list. I think he should be a Hall of Famer, by the way. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. Curtis Joseph, Mike Richter, who had a few all-time seasons with the Rangers, the 94 Stanley Cup, obviously, and then that 96 World Cup of Hockey, where he stole that tournament, which I think was one of Canada's best teams to ever get put together and didn't win. That tournament was unbelievable, and Richter stole that tournament for the for Team USA. But each of those guys they had the basics down to a science. They were good. They had quick reflexes. They stacked the pads. They had good glove hands. They handled the puck pretty well. They moved around quite nicely. Their equipment wasn't ridiculously oversized. That came later on with the Garth Snow era of hockey in the late 90s and into the early 2000s, where it got completely ridiculous with the size of equipment that guys wore. But the stuff now it seems that you have a bunch of goaltenders who are exactly the same, and they're 90% of them are average at best in the National Hockey. Yes, they're very good. Don't at me later on, but they're average at best. A lot of them. They seem to me they all took the same goaltending course. They watched the same YouTube video on how to play goal. And I think that's where the problem is. I think that's why NHL shooters are having a lot of success against these guys, because every goalie is the exact same, and they don't have any of their own style or substance. They all just fall on their knees and let the puck hit them. I don't think goalies in general, they make a lot of saves nowadays. The puck seems to hit them a lot. You watch junior hockey, college hockey, professional hockey, right down into minor hockey. All these guys are doing the exact same thing. They fall down, they slide side to side on their knees, and pucks just hit them. They aren't making saves. They're positionally, yeah, sometimes they're pretty strong, but it just seems because they have the exact same style. Yeah. And to a man, every one of them does it. And you do watch the goaltenders at the lower levels, how they're all trying to emulate the same thing. Whereas back in the day, we used to try to emulate, get our own style a little bit, where you stack the pads, come across the crease. You're completely out of position for a shot after the fact. But it just the goaltending, the way it's trained now, the analytics of it all just doesn't make sense. Like you look at how many of those Michigan goals get scored on a weekly basis now. That it's not even a one once a year thing. They get scored a lot because the shooters know that goaltenders are going down, and you see that Michigan goal being scored by players at all levels and all ages and all genders now. Actually, now that you think about it, like the goaltending, the way it's done now, I think it's quite ineffective. There's no international goaltender school in Yorkton, Saskatchewan, like I went to, where you were given the basics and you came up with your own style. Now it seems like all these guys have the exact same equipment, the exact same skates, the exact same stance. They all handle the puck the same way. It's all the same thing. Like you have guys like the one thing that they're really, really good goaltenders, I'll say great. There's a few that are great in this list. They all have one thing in common. Vasilevsky, great. He's huge. Connor Hellebuck, he's great. He's huge. Kemper, huge. That Ottinger kid who had a great playoff run against the Calgary Flames last year, he's just huge. And I think pucks just hit these guys. The last guy, and then you actually look at what a mess they got in Edmonton. They got, and I was wrong. I was completely wrong on this one. They went and got Jack Campbell. He had that great season with the Leafs last year, and he got himself paid. He got himself paid in Edmonton 5 years, I think, or 4 years at $5 million, whatever it is. But Stuart Skinner, excellent Leopard Hurricane, he's the one who's been starting every night because Campbell just can't stop the puck. That little black thing, that piece of vulcanized rubber, is really giving him some trouble. So it's really odd that you have these. The only thing that great goaltenders, and Skinner's the same thing. They're just really big guys, and they're having more success than the average size guy because it's all the same system. And these guys don't know how to make saves, and pucks just hit them. And because of their size, that's the one advantage that some of these guys have. The last guy who is a bit of a throwback, I think, and he had a great. I think it was 2011-12 when the Kings won a Stanley Cup. He's the last guy who had any style and substance of his own and was mobile around the net. He's kind of like a younger Bill Ranford in that, like was Jonathan Quick for the Kings. He's a heck of a goaltender. He had a rough one last night in Toronto, but he's a very good goaltender, and he's probably, I would say, probably going to the Hall of Fame as well. Another guy that doesn't get enough respect, he's still playing pretty well, is Marc-Andre Fleury. I think he's a Hall of Fame lock for sure. Carey Price was great. So those guys that are a little bit older, I guess. I like watching them a little bit more the way it turns out, because they just seem to move around the net a little bit more better, and like guys did back in the day. Like these great big guys, they give up a lot of net. They give up the upper half of the net a lot, and shooters they know that now. And so I think that the way goaltending gets taught has to be changed a little bit. Maybe I could be the one to go out and do it. I haven't stopped the puck, and I never really stopped them that often to like get down the brass tacks. But there's just guys who are you need to have a good goaltender to have a good team. And if your goaltender's failing you, there's a good chance you aren't going to win. Say in the NFL, if your quarterback isn't very good, there's a good chance you're going to lose. So there's my diatribe for the day on goaltending. It's I think that it's too bad, because there are some guys who could be good, but I think that the system is failing these guys. And like I said, if you ever go to a local arena this weekend. I'm going to a Hurricane game tonight. Teddy Bear toss against the Medicine Hat Tigers, so that should be a lot of fun. But if you watch these goaltenders at a young age, they all do the exact same thing. They play the exact same way, and they hope for different results. Like I said, that Michigan goal wouldn't have happened that often 20 years ago. Like if you watch back in the day, you had guys that they would hug the post and be standing up. Now they're on their knees when the puck's in the corner. I don't understand it, why they do it, but they're taught that. Some analytics guy said this is how you're supposed to do it, and it's kind of odd. But parents, if you're listening to this, don't let your kids grow up to be goalies. It's child abuse. It is. It's hard on kids. Being a goaltender is probably. I shouldn't say that. I loved playing goal. It was a lot of fun, but it can be a little bit nerve-wracking on the old thinker. There's no doubt about that. But so parents, let your kids go out and score goals or be defensemen or something and have a lot of fun on the bench. Don't let them be goaltenders, and it costs a lot. It costs a lot, and it's never a good thing. Like parents who have goaltenders now, later on, they'll tell you the same thing, that it's kind of one of those things. Anyways, teams that are already looking for next year, maybe tanking for Regina Pastor, Connor Bedard. When the season first started for the Western Hockey League, me and I had Dustin Forbes on from the radio station here, and then James Tubb and Nathan Ryder from their respective stations in Medicine Hat and in Prince Albert, and we were talking Bedard getting traded. Me and James said that Bedard would get traded. Nathan and And Dustin said there's not a chance, but there's a lot of teams that are already out. You got Philly, they're done. Ottawa's done. Columbus is done. Anaheim, Chicago, Arizona, San Jose, they're done. So their seasons are in next year land. So it's kind of an odd thing that we're only at December the 9th and your seasons are already done. Today in sports history, 1988, the New York Yankees signed a huge 12-year deal with the Madison Square Garden Network, MSG Network, for $500 million. So it goes to show how things can change a little bit, the way things are, because Judge just got a basically the same contract for on 9 years at $360. So the money was pretty comparable. It's $42 million for a TV network to get the Yankees got from MSG. So it just goes to show where these guys are getting their money from. And that was in '88. So that's a long time ago where the money comes from. Me and Dave had it on 1420, which will be up later on today. But it's crazy that money that's out there. Birthdays today, for those of you who are my vintage or right around there, I'm 48 years old. You remember a guy by the name of Todd Van Poppel. He was born this day in 1970. Todd Van Poppel, we were told to get his baseball card. He was going to be the next coming. And I'm sure everybody's still got a Todd Van Poppel card kicking around their collection somewhere. I know I got a few of my brothers down here kicking around still. So it's quite funny that Todd Van Poppel, you had to have 1 or 2 or 5 of those cards, and they were getting traded hot and heavy back in the day. Beckett's Sport Magazine told us to get the Van Poppel card, and it was kind of one of those things for us older collectors who we thought we were collectors back in the day. It was just we were just buying cards and we thought we were collectors, but the Todd Van Poppel card was one. Also this day in 1970, Peter Nedved, great NHL player. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame guy. He defected from the Czech team at the Max tournament in 1988 or something. I can't remember. It doesn't much matter. Then he ended up playing in Seattle for the Thunderbirds, got 145 points in 71 games. In 89-90, went second overall to Owen Nolan. Nedved, yeah, he's not a Hall of Fame guy. He's a really good player. He had a long career. Also today, this one's the most important one. Jim Schwarn, born this day in 2001. Our sound guy, guitar legend, the sound guy for the 1420 podcast, my nephew, the whole bit. He was born on this day in 2001. So he's 21 years old. So he's legal all over North America. Now go check out his music on Spotify. Maybe I will put it up today on our social media accounts. Over With is one of my favorites that he has. I love that song a lot. It's so that's today's day in today's birthdays in sports history. Anyways, I kind of got snubbed yesterday. Went on the best bets. Starting to go a little bit faster. I got 2 minutes to get everything in, but got snubbed last night. I went 1 and 2. My Bodog's best bets yesterday. I had it going good. I was only going to be 2 and 1, but Baker Mayfield led the Rams on a last-minute drive to make me go 1 and 2. So take what I say here on Bodog's best bet, and when you make your bets, make sure you bet responsibly. That's the big thing. I got Calgary over Columbus in the reunion of Johnny Hockey against the Calgary Flames. I got because everybody knows Goudreau wanted to leave for reasons unbeknownst to me, other than maybe just didn't want to play. I got the Devils staying hot over the Islanders, and I got Buffalo winning over at home over Sidney Crosby and the Pens. You put down 26, you get $76.32. Go to bodog.au, click on our link on our social media accounts, and you will get you can win yourself some money. Sign up. The whole bit, but bet responsibly and don't take my words. I'm not a great gambler, but I sometimes I can pick sports now and then. But anyways, that is the 14:20 in the morning for this December 9th. Geez, December 9th already, 2022. The holiday season's upon us. Make sure you guys talk to people about our show. Get it out there and follow us on YouTube. And it's out on this show. It's not just on YouTube, but it's also on all of our podcast platforms where you listen to your podcast. If you're going to a game this weekend, make sure you go to SeatGeek and SeatGeek.com to use the SeatGeek app and use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today, and you'll save yourself $20. Man, I think I got her all in this morning. It was a lot of fun. I like doing this in the morning. Make sure you guys talk to people about the show. Get it out to the masses. We'll keep doing it every day. I got nothing better to do in the morning anyways, up bright and early. So that's 14:20 in the a.m. by Collectible Exchange, collectibleexchange.com. Use promo code 1420CX for 10% off your purchase. Have a good day, folks, and we will talk to you again tomorrow morning.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.